We saw that there are two narratives of promises of offspring to Abraham and Sarah, chapter 17 and chapter 18. The existence of this double narrative is explained in different ways by different commentators and different methodologies. So diachronic analysis, for example, explained the double narrative as an expression of two different sources. And chapter 17 was attributed to the purported P source using the name Elohim, while chapter 18 was attributed to the purported J source using the name the Lord, Hashem. As opposed to that, we saw synchronic analysis explained the double narrative as representing a promise on two levels. One, on the covenantal level, with God promising Abraham in chapter 17 a son, and second, on the personal level, with God promising, or the Lord promising Sarah a son in chapter 18. But this is on the level of promises. What happens on the level of fulfillment? We know that these promises are fulfilled, but which one of them? The promise in chapter 17 or the promise in chapter 18? Let's take a look. So we read in chapter 21 in the beginning, and the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Isaac. Then Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. What's fascinating is to see that in the fulfillment, we actually have a double account of the fulfillment. First, in verse 1, focusing on Sarah with the name the Lord as the fulfiller. And this, of course, parallels what we find in chapter 18, where we have the name the Lord, Shem Hashem, and the focus on a promise to Sarah. But then in verse 2, we have a shift, for Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son, and here the name is not the Lord, but the name God. And of course, this parallels chapter 17, and also the continuation of this chapter, mentioning the giving of the name Isaac, as well as the fulfillment of the commandment of circumcision. All these continue to connect us with chapter 17. So if we ask what was fulfilled, well, the answer is both. Both the personal promise to Sarah and the covenantal promise to Abraham, both are fulfilled. So we see that God indeed, or the Lord and God indeed, fulfill their promises to Abraham and Sarah, each on the appropriate level as found in the promise narratives.